The laughter still clung to the house when I slipped outside, a brittle, pointed sound that masked cruelty as celebration. I could still picture the scene, her sister beaming with a bow, the keys to a brand-new BMW gleaming, their father lifting his glass as the room erupted in applause. Then they handed me my present, small and mean, a $2 bill stuck to a T-shirt, the words now jobless sewn across the front like an accusation. They howled loudest when my wife laughed. I offered a single, empty smile and leapt before the room could turn my quiet into a spectacle. The night air cut like glass as I got into the car. My breath fogged the windshield. The engine settled into an even hum, steadier than I felt. My phone buzzed in my pocket. The one notification I'd been waiting for. I didn't open it right away. Instead, I drove away from the music, the glare, the family that had never been mine, yet always seemed to own me. I didn't plan to stay. This didn't begin tonight. It began with small fractures. The way she twitched whenever I touched her shoulder. The habit of a lock screen. Her body not leaning toward me anymore. A scent of another man's cologne on her clothes. I told myself it was fatigue, the slow erosion of marriage. But doubt claws until it's loud. So I started to look. A toothbrush hidden in her purse after she said she'd been late at the office. Uber receipts to places that weren't work. Nights when her phone died the moment she walked in. Then a slip at a Christmas dinner. Her father's secretary, drunk and half-talking, muttered something about keeping it in the family. Those words dug in. I kept digging. The pattern clarified. It wasn't a one-night thing with a stranger. It was someone who sat across from me at holidays, who wore the same surname. Her sister's fiancé. The betrayal was clinical, efficient, folded into bloodlines and loyalty. I didn't storm into the light. I gathered proof. Swabs from glasses, messages from a tablet she left behind, a camera I positioned low in the garage where they thought shadows hid them. I didn't confront her. Confrontation is for the impatient. I preferred revelation on my terms. A week before Christmas, the lab results arrived. DNA doesn't lie. The report confirmed what my suspicion had already been whispering. The child she presented as ours wasn't. The numbers, the markers, the sterile language on the page spelled out what my gut had known for months. I folded the printout, slid it into an envelope, and tucked it into my coat. Life around me kept moving. Meetings, coffee, 4 smiles, a kiss on the cheek, tasting faint and hollow. I let her live in her own story while I kept collecting. I chauffeured her to dinners and parties, listened as she braided lies into plausibility, watched the way she hit her phone. Every time it vibrated, I memorized how she locked it away. Every laugh she shared with her sister, I cataloged. Patience became my strategy, silence my shield. And tonight the pieces were finally in place. Inside, the celebration swelled, ribbons popping corks, the scent of champagne in the air. She shone at her sister's side as her father handed over the car keys. Then came the gift, the $2 note, the shirt, the crowd's laughter. I received it with my face composed and left before any scene could form. In the car, December's cold closing in, I opened the email I'd scheduled to send. Everything was queued. The DNA report, surveillance clips, phone logs, the tidy, incontrovertible evidence that stripped away their polished facade. I didn't send it to them first. I sent it to the press, to the company board, to the investors who bought the family's untarnished image. One click, and every lie was exposed to people who could not pretend ignorance. I didn't need to yell. I only needed to wait. Soon enough, the sound reached me. Her father's voice, fractured and stunned, drifting out through the night like a signal of collapse. On screens in that very room the footage played, muted but unmistakable. Timestamps, dates, the garage camera catching hands and lips, and the disrobing of pretense. The DNA results placed beside birth certificates and declarations. Her sister froze, wine slipping from a trembling hand. My wife's laughter vanished, replaced by the mute terror of recognition. I wasn't there to watch the faces fall. I was already gone. I knew how silence would settle, how the celebration would curdle into scandal, how she would scan the crowd for me and find no pleading audience. I left them no platform. I left no scene to perform on. The car purred beneath me, reliable where human flesh had failed. I thought of her, not with fury or longing, but with the clear-eyed understanding betrayal provides. They had treated me as a fool, the buffoon, the easy target. But fools don't script final acts. I did. When the company cracked, when her father's empire splintered, when her sister's wedding imploded, they would remember the quiet man who walked away. Not because I screamed, but because I removed myself. My absence would speak louder than any declaration I might have made. I eased my foot down and kept driving. I never looked back.